Someone asked me to help them access Bitcoin they had inherited. A family member had died. They knew the Bitcoin was there, they had the hardware wallet, and they had absolutely no way of getting into it. No PIN, no seed phrase, no instructions. Just a device in a drawer and a balance on the screen that they could see but not touch. Watching what that process involved showed me just how much Bitcoin holders are leaving for the people they love to figure out. And almost none of them have thought about it. I'm Sat, and this is what happens when someone dies and leaves Bitcoin behind without a plan. Let me walk you through what we found and what we tried. Because the practical steps are what matters if you are in this situation. And the lesson at the end is what every Bitcoin holder needs to hear now before it becomes someone else's problem. The hardware wallet was in a drawer in the home office. An older ledger model. The device itself was intact. There was no PIN written down anywhere near it. There was no seed phrase. There was a piece of paper with what looked like it might be a password but turned out to be something unrelated. There was a laptop nearby that had Ledger Live installed. The first question was whether the device still worked. It did. When connected to the laptop and opened in Ledger Live, the software recognized the device and showed a balance. There was Bitcoin on there, a meaningful amount, and no way to access it without the PIN. We tried the most obvious combinations. Birth date, anniversary, simple numbers. None of them worked. After the third wrong attempt, we stopped because a hardware wallet resets after too many incorrect PIN entries, and a reset without the seed phrase means permanent loss. We went back through everything in the office. Every notebook, every folder, every piece of paper that could have been used to write something down. Nothing. We checked the email account for any correspondence with Ledger or any setup guides that had been saved. There was a download confirmation for Ledger Live from several years earlier, but nothing more useful than that. This is where we had to accept something uncomfortable. If there was no seed phrase anywhere, there was no recovery. The Bitcoin on that device was mathematically inaccessible without either the PIN or the seed phrase. Not recoverable by Ledger, not recoverable by a lawyer, not recoverable by anyone. The cryptography that makes Bitcoin secure makes it equally inaccessible when the person who set it up is no longer here to provide the credentials. The search continued. It took 3 more days. The seed phrase was eventually found written in the back of a notebook on a bookshelf, not in a dedicated secure location, not labeled in any obvious way. 24 words in the correct order. And that was the difference between recovering the Bitcoin and losing it permanently. With the seed phrase, the wallet was restored on a new device. The balance was verified, and access was established. That part of the process, once the seed phrase was in hand, was straightforward. Ledger's restore process is well documented. The Bitcoin was recovered. But the process of getting there, the searching, the uncertainty, the not knowing whether the money was already gone, took almost 2 weeks. 2 weeks of going through someone's belongings looking for a piece of paper while dealing with everything else that follows a death. Watching that changed how I think about Bitcoin security forever. Here is what most people do not know about the legal and tax side of inherited Bitcoin in the United States. Bitcoin is treated as property for estate purposes. It passes to heirs according to a will or according to state intestacy laws if there is no will, the same as any other asset. The executor of the estate has a legal obligation to locate and value all assets, including digital assets, including Bitcoin. The tax situation is more favorable than most people assume. Inherited assets in the US receive what is called a step-up in cost basis. The cost basis of inherited Bitcoin is reset to the fair market value on the date of death, not the original purchase price. If the person who died bought Bitcoin years ago at a much lower price, the inheritor does not owe capital gains tax on that appreciation. They owe capital gains tax only on appreciation that happens after they inherit it. That step-up in basis is genuinely significant. It means inheriting appreciated Bitcoin is more tax efficient than receiving it as a gift during someone's lifetime. Worth understanding before making any decisions about what to do with inherited Bitcoin. Here's the practical lesson for every Bitcoin holder watching this. Your Bitcoin is exactly as secure as the process you have set up for someone to access it after you are gone. Not more, not less. The same cryptographic security that protects it from theft also protects it from your family if you have not given them a way in. A seed phrase kept in a secret location that nobody else knows about is not security for your estate. It is a way of ensuring your Bitcoin dies with you. What responsible Bitcoin ownership looks like for inheritance purposes is not complicated, but it requires doing something most people put off. Write down your seed phrase. Store it somewhere secure. Tell at least one trusted person where it is, or include clear instructions in your estate documents about where to find it. You do not need to tell anyone the seed phrase itself. you need to make sure that when the time comes, someone can find it. The Bitcoin in this situation was recoverable because of a notebook on a bookshelf. It could just as easily not have been, and the amount involved would have been gone permanently with no mechanism for recovery, no institution to call, and no court order that could have helped. Bitcoin's security model is exceptional. Its inheritance model is whatever you make it. Make it something your family can work with. Quick recap before you go. Inheriting Bitcoin is legally possible in the US. Bitcoin passes through an estate like any other property. The step-up in cost basis means the inheritor does not owe tax on appreciation that happened before they inherited it. The practical challenge is access. Without the PIN or the seed phrase, hardware wallet Bitcoin is not recoverable by anyone. Not ledger, not a lawyer, not a court. If you are trying to access inherited Bitcoin, search thoroughly for the seed phrase before assuming anything is lost. It may be stored somewhere unexpected. If you hold Bitcoin, your most important task right now is making sure someone you trust can find your seed phrase when they need to, not knowing it themselves, knowing where to find it. Bitcoin security is only as good as the plan you have made for the people who come after you. If you want to understand what a seed phrase actually is and why it is the only thing that stands between your Bitcoin and permanent loss, the video on Bitcoin private keys covers exactly that. It is the foundation that makes everything in this video make sense. Watch that next. Stack smart, stay curious. See you in the next stack.